Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will unravel the story Within the Pioneers by James Fenimore Cooper. The Pioneers, written by James Fenimore Cooper and published in 1823, is a seminal work in early American literature. Set in the late 18th century, it tells the story of the settlement and development of a frontier town, offering a vivid portrayal of the American wilderness and the clash between the natural environment and the encroaching forces of civilization. The novel is part of Cooper's famous Leatherstocking Tales series, introducing readers to the complex dynamics of pioneer life and the interaction between settlers and the natural world. Plot summary. As the winter sun set over the rugged hills of New York, a sleigh wound its way along the treacherous path that led to the bustling village of Templeton. Judge Marmaduke Temple, a prominent figure in the town, was returning home after an extended absence, accompanied by his daughter, Elizabeth. The landscape before them was blanketed in snow, a serene and pristine canvas that concealed the profound changes taking place in the valley below. This was a land on the brink of transformation, caught between the untamed wilderness and the steady advance of civilization. As the sleigh descended into the valley, Elizabeth gazed in awe at the village that had sprung up since her departure. The once wild terrain was now dotted with buildings, smoke rising from chimneys as the settlers busied themselves with preparations for the approaching Christmas festivities. Among the crowd was Natty Bumppo, known as Leatherstocking, a seasoned frontiersman who roamed the forests with his faithful dogs, Hector and the Slut. Natty was a man out of his time, a relic of a vanishing world, and a stark contrast to the orderly community that had grown around him. In the heart of Templeton, Judge Temple presided over the affairs of the village with a firm yet fair hand. He had laid the foundations for the town's prosperity, overseeing the construction of roads, mills, and houses. However, his efforts to bring order to the wilderness were not without conflict. The settlers' encroachment on the land brought them into direct opposition with Natty Bumppo and others who viewed the forests as sacred and the game within them as a shared resource. One such clash occurs when Judge Temple and Elizabeth encounter Natty and his young companion, Oliver Edwards, in the woods. They are startled by the sound of a rifle shot, only to find a wounded deer on the ground. Judge Temple had missed his mark, but Natty and Oliver had not. A dispute over the rightful ownership of the kill ensues, with Natty arguing for the rights of those who live by the forest's natural law, while the judge asserts the authority of civil law. This encounter sets the stage for the simmering tensions between the forces of nature and the forces of order, personified by Natty and the judge. Oliver Edwards, the enigmatic young man with a hidden past, becomes a frequent visitor at the Temple mansion. Elizabeth is drawn to his mysterious demeanor and deep connection to Natty Bumppo and the wilderness. As the days pass, she becomes increasingly captivated by his stories of the forest and the unspoiled land that once surrounded Templeton. Yet, Oliver is reticent about his past, keeping his true identity concealed even as he grows closer to Elizabeth. The winter passes, and the harsh cold gives way to the thaw of spring, bringing with it new life and new conflicts. The settlers' expansion into the wilderness accelerates, leading to the felling of trees and the clearing of land for agriculture. Natty watches these changes with a mixture of sorrow and anger, lamenting the loss of the forest and the freedom it represents. He clashes with the settlers, and particularly with Judge Temple, over issues such as hunting rights and the use of natural resources. To Natty, the forest is a sacred space, a place where man lives in harmony with nature, while to the settlers, it is a resource to be tamed and utilized for the growth of the community. Amid these tensions, the town prepares for a grand celebration in honor of the 4th of July. It is a moment of unity and festivity, yet it also underscores the divisions within the community. During the celebrations, Oliver Edwards' true identity is inadvertently revealed. He is not merely a wanderer, but the grandson of Major Effingham, the original landowner from whom Judge Temple had purchased the land. This revelation shocks the community and complicates the relationships between the characters. The land that Judge Temple and others have settled upon, that they have built their lives upon, is tied to a past that is more complex and intertwined than they had realized. The tension reaches its peak when Natty is accused of poaching on Judge Temple's land, a crime that the old frontiersman vehemently denies. A trial ensues, pitting the wilderness against the courtroom, and Natty stands before Judge Temple, defending not just his actions, but his very way of life. The trial becomes a spectacle, a confrontation between the old ways and the new, and the community is forced to reckon with its own values and the costs of progress. In a surprising turn, Oliver Edwards steps forward to defend Natty, revealing his own lineage and laying claim to the land that is now in Judge Temple's hands. The revelation stuns the town and places the judge in a moral quandary. Oliver's assertion of his birthright challenges the very foundation of the settlement and forces Judge Temple to confront the implications of his own actions. Despite his newfound knowledge, Oliver does not seek to disrupt the lives of those who have settled on the land. Instead, he aims to protect Natty and the ideals he represents. In the end, Judge Temple, torn between his sense of justice and his duty to uphold the law, chooses a path of leniency. He recognizes the value of Natty's life and the significance of the wilderness that is slowly being eroded by the march of civilization. Natty is allowed to go free, but he chooses to leave Templeton, retreating deeper into the forest that is his true home. His departure is a poignant reminder of the passing of an era, as the wilderness makes way for the advance of society and the inevitable changes that come with it. Oliver, with his lineage and newfound connection to Elizabeth, decides to stay and contribute to the growing community. He becomes a symbol of reconciliation between the old and the new, carrying forward the legacy of the land while embracing the future. As he and Elizabeth look out over the valley, they see a world in transition, a world that must find a balance between the demands of progress and the preservation of its natural heritage. The Pioneers thus ends on a note of bittersweet reflection, capturing the complexities of a changing world where the drive for progress often comes into conflict with the need to honor and protect the natural world. It is a tale of the American frontier, a story of growth and loss, of individuals caught in the tide of history, striving to forge their paths in a land that is both a promise and a paradox. That's all for now, but if you're loving the Leatherstocking Tales series, there's more waiting for you. Find the other books by James Fenimore Cooper in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in James Fenimore Cooper's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.